I'd ask Madam Secretary to take a roll call, please.
Mr. Heisel,
Here.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
and Mrs. Stockton. Here. And Secretary Zai. Can we stand for the pledge?
Yeah, let us please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good news report. ELC, Child Find, and Parent Day. Miss Kelly Chester. Good evening.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
There we go. Good evening, parents, students, colleagues, and board members.
Thank you.
I'm Kelly Chesta. I'm the director for the Crete-Monee Early Learning Center, and I'm excited to be here tonight to do to deliver a good news report. First of all, our Parents' Day. That's our first event that I wanted to share with you. Our first ever Family Day event. We typically do evening events. The purpose of this event was to bring parents, grandparents into our setting to develop a bond, to allow them to see a typical day at the Early Learning Center with educational activities. We focused this day on the Snow Day book by Ezra Jack Keats. And all the activities, the parents and students were able to start the event by listening to the story. They then got to break up into centers where they got to experience all different kinds of educational activities, things that they could experience there and bring home. They were able to make snow. They experienced exploring with snow. They had several different kinds of art projects. They built with giant blocks. We even had our speech pathologist doing a language group for our students and the parents, and they were able to participate and take some ideas home with them. And then, of course, we set up our computer lab for the parents or grandparents to be able to take the Fifth Essential survey. I just wanted to let you know, it's so important to us to have that bond with the families. We want to be able to provide them with information. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable in our setting so we can help them and their student. Okay. Well, we ended this morning activity with ice skating. And then they had snowball fights with following activities to music. It was an amazing experience. It was a positive experience for all there. The next topic that I want to share with you is Child Find. This is a state initiative that we made our own here. It is important, we are mandated to identify and locate these students and evaluate them, and then make recommendations to what we can do to help them. So in the past, we provided information at our center, the Early Learning Center. We extended it this year by providing information to all the different schools. We gave it to the registrar's office, and we will be adding it to our website. So parents can basically download a packet of information regarding birth through age 5. So if you have children that are 3 and under, there's a checklist that you can download, and you can fill it out, return it to any one of the schools. They will send it to me. I will score it, send the results to the parents, and make recommendations on what the next step would be. So do they need early intervention? Do they just need a program? Where is your child falling? That's information that you will get. Then children ages 3 to 5, we send them to our Early Learning Center. So we give you the phone number. If you give us a call, we can set your child up with a screening. We have to make sure that your child qualifies for our program. There needs to be an area of need. After the screening takes place, I conference with every parent to let them know how their child did, and then we make recommendations. Does your child need further testing to see if there's services needed, or is it just a program that's needed? If they do not qualify for our program, I make recommendations of comparable programs in our area to help support our students. So that is our main goal. We want to make sure we're supporting our students at a young age to make sure they're getting what they need. So when they make it to kindergarten, upper grades, they're ready. If you have any questions or concerns, let us know. I'm Kelly Chesta from the Crete-Monee Early Learning Center. We'll have information on the website. You can get our number, give us a call. We're happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any board members like to comment? Mary? Kim?
Ms. Chester, don't leave.
Don't hit it
I just
right.
want to just real briefly commend you for the work at the ELC program. I know when I was there as a mom myself, I certainly under Paul at that time, but nevertheless, you were outstanding in your work there as a teacher and certainly doing a great job as our director. So glad to have you. And that day was really fun because it was drudgy and ugly outside, but definitely warm inside at ELC. All the kids, I took some lessons from the pre-K table with the math adhesives all the way back home to my second grader. So thank you still. You never can stop learning. And just wanted to kind of reiterate something that I don't know if a lot of people realize. We talked about it a little bit about how the early learning process is so critical. And I shared with Ms. Chesta that last year at the national conference, I was in an initiative workshop for early learning, and they talked about trending. You know, board members get information about statistics, why we put funding in certain things. And one of the things that I noticed with you guys on this day is finding outstanding ways to show parents the need for their kids to be. People think it's a babysitting environment, and it really isn't. And then they told us as members that we could come back and find ways to trend your data. And one of the ways, I think you and I kind of collaborated in thought, is that you can take kids that have been in the ELC program and trend finding them all the way through our district and see the growth and, of course, how well they do as a result of actually being in the ELC program as an alternative and just going to, and no disrespect to the pre-kindergarten programs or just having kids at home, but I just certainly want to commend you guys for coming up with that resource room. I didn't want to leave. It was really fun, and happened to see quite a few parents actually filling out the 5 essentials. So just making that available to parents is key, essential, and you and I talked a lot about the idea of what it takes. So the parents from a foundational level start, and we support at 3, 4, and 5. So if we can find a way to fuse parents into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on, because we know what the statistics say at your grade level. So I just want to thank you guys. Everybody was engaged in that process, as was my second grader still says, can I go back to Ms. Toomey's class? So again, it's a great reward when kids want to stay in school, or for lack of a better term, and or be around people who are fostering education. So thank you for your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great. Tom, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I think it's a great program, and I love your kids, and I really like going to the district office when they're either coming in or going out. What's really nice about it is that I spent my entire career dealing primarily with high school students, and yours are so short. You know, those kids love it. And the thing that I see in the kids is, one, they're excited to come in the morning, and they're happy to be there. And you can see that they love their teachers. You're doing a great job. That's the key to everything. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Kelly, if you don't mind, I have not ever seen you not smile. It's just something, you're just such a right fit for your position. And our kids at this age, they really need you. And I had an opportunity to be a special parent for a day a couple years ago, and that did me well, that to be there with those kids and see how those teachers really responded to those kids. And I just look at you and your whole team as being the potters, and the kids are the clay. And you're just molding and shaping those kids to the leaders that they are going to be. So thank you. Keep going. I know sometimes it may be hard smiling, but a merry heart is like medicine to the soul. Keep smiling, okay? Thank you. Thank you.
Real quickly, thank you for all that you do, and we're just so happy for the work that's being done there, and thank you for continuing to invite me and the board members to come down and enjoy your program. I know that we've also talked about some of the data that you were just talking about, Mrs. Sanders. We're going to get that data up in front of the board and the public to see how well these young men and young women are doing once they leave out of ELC. They're doing an outstanding job. We want people to know that that is important to us because it's the foundation that starts us going in the right direction. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Drive safe. All right, moving along on our agenda. And do we have any board updates? No board updates? Okay. Administrative updates. We have Student Affairs. Ms. Spence?
Yes, thank you. Good evening. We have 2 Freedom of Information requests for the month of February. The first one comes to us from Mr. Steve Stoynoff of Labor Management for Chicago and vicinity. Mr. Stoynoff is requesting the certified payroll and the daily sign-in sheet for work performed at Crete Elementary School for asbestos removal done by Gorafix Incorporated for the dates August 1st, 2013 through August 7, 2013. The status of that request: a response with a partial fulfillment of this request was sent on February 9, 2015. Our second Freedom of Information request comes to us from Ms. Tammy Burnham of Crete, Illinois. Ms. Burnham requests the minutes from the regular board meeting dated July 15, 2014. The status of this request: a response containing the requested document was sent on February 13, 2015. That concludes our FOIA request.
Thank you. Questions or comments? If not, we're moving right along to a curriculum update.
This month's report is on Black History Month. Each February, all schools in Crete-Monee School District implement school-wide and classroom activities to recognize the achievements and contributions of African Americans. Throughout the month, teachers incorporate lessons and activities into their classrooms. Schools plan school-wide recognition activities such as daily facts, bulletin boards, and school-wide assemblies. All activities in February are in addition to the learning opportunities that take place throughout the school year. The information that you have in your board packet provides you with an overview of this year's activities, both for the classroom and the specific school activities that each of our buildings have scheduled.
Okay, is that it? Anybody, any questions or comments on this? Seems like we're doing quite a bit for this month. A lot of activities, a lot of things going on. Play that funky music.
That's our Urban Gateways Assembly, and
Okay.
we work with them annually and always have an assembly in February that the principals select. They have a great menu of assemblies that we can select from, so it's a
Do you-
good partnership with them.
Do you have Mr. Cunningham dancing with
I
the
might
music?
bring him over to one of the schools. No, I guess not.
If not, let's get Lyle. All
I have
righty.
one question. So, in light of the fact that this is specifically listed, do we have any other, and I know we've discussed this before, when we speak Black History Month specifically, any cultural, I mean, we have a diverse culture, so any cultural, how do we document any other cultural observances during the course of the school year?
Well, the Illinois School Code mandates that we do recognition throughout the various months of the year. Like next month is Women's History Month, so we will be, planning activities and recognition and lessons around that. Most of what we do, and I think our teachers and our administrators will agree, is that we really try to, throughout our curriculum, make sure that we're representing different cultures through literature, artwork. We have our Mix It Up Day that we do in the fall. So as we're looking at the materials that we're putting in front of students, we try to be highly aware of the various cultures that we have in the district and outside of the district to give kids a broad exposure to things.
Okay, so for example, should I expect to see Women's History Month as it is listed here, or any of these other, observances? I mean, I'm saying this one specifically. So will we do the same thing for the Women's History or whatever other months that we make, observances of?
I think you will see Women's History. I don't know that it will be to this detail, partly because of there's specific holidays during this month that we recognize. Also, unfortunately, March is Park Month, so we'll be doing a lot of testing, and that tends to kind of limit the time that we have for some of our activities.
Board Member Sanders make a good point, and I was thinking about something of that same magnitude. I know we have, and I see it on TV, we got like Asian month and Hispanic and things like that. So if we can capture those and see, because I'm not even aware of, Black History Month kind of stands out with me, obviously, for February, but I would like to give some notarization to other groups. If we have that already in the calendar, I just don't know. We need to bring that to the forefront as well.
Yeah, and I can certainly have a discussion with principals around how we do those
Sure.
types of things. One of the things you'll notice this year too is if you look on the website for our novel list that we're using for grades 6 through 12. This year you'll see, rather than just titles, you'll see a description of the genre of the literature and also a description of what the literature is about, or the nonfiction books are about. And what you'll see is that we have a variety of materials that we have for students to read that represent a wide range of cultural groups and perspectives. So we're trying to make sure that we get that out and that we are addressing it in a more global way. But as you mentioned, I think for a majority of our students, this month is meaningful for them.
Sure.
And we
Sure.
want to make sure that we're honoring.
We can give equal share to all. Okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Laura? If not, I'd like a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Moved.
Moved by Stockton, second by Heisel. Any comments, questions, concerns? If not, roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Heisel?
Aye.
And Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Stockton?
Aye.
And the Secretary's aye.
Motion carried. Action report, Superintendent.
Yes, sir. The South Cooperative Organization for Public Education, or SCOPE as it's known here, presents itself as the representative of South and Southwest suburban school districts in both Cook and Will counties. SCOPE is currently representing 56 public school districts with a combined enrollment exceeding 300,000 students. We need to ensure that we are members of a legislative advocacy group that knows, understands, and advocates for the unique needs of South suburban school communities. With that, the administration is asking that the board approve the district joining the SCOPE organization.
Not joining it, we're already a member.
Continue on with
Continuing.
the membership.
Continuing.
Yes. Continuing.
And
I was going to say, I've been going to meetings for no reason.
And that's for mid-year cost of $774.25.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Well worth it.
I'm sorry.
Well worth the money.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Any comments?
Since I'm the SCOPE representative, I certainly contend that we need to stay focused and attached to any legislative bodies that will help to enable and help us facilitate more, how do I say it, begging downstate. So I definitely support the action to continue. I think I've been the representative for 5 years now. So they do a great job in explaining in common sense terms, if you will, how to go about ensuring that our voices are heard in Springfield and beyond. So they do a great job.
Yeah, I second that. And I was looking at the calculations, and I thought some numbers was wrong, but that EAV is fine and divided by the ADA, and how they did the numbers to come up with the 774. So that's good. Okay, if no other comments, we take a roll call. I thought we didn't have.
I move.
Second.
Okay, motion by moved by Stockton, second by Secretary Sanders. I'll ask the question then. Any further comments? No further comments. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stockton?
Aye.
Mr. Heisel?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Secretary's aye.
Motion carried. Next agenda item is that an action item here? Curriculum is the approval for our 2015-2016 calendar, school calendar. Could I have a motion to approve the 2015-2016 calendar? Moved by Heisel,
Second.
second by Board Member Sanders. Any questions, comments? Laura, do you have anything to say on it?
Well, we did things just a little bit differently this year. Typically, I meet with CMEA Calendar Committee and ACME once, possibly twice. This year, we did a series of meetings. Actually, I met with representatives from those groups 3 times. We also brought the draft committee calendar to the Education Committee to talk about it in January. And this year we really looked at 4 considerations in developing the calendar. 2 we've been looking at for several years, which is to be able to end the first semester before winter break. And the other is to try and make sure that we make the semesters as even as we possibly can. We know that that's not entirely possible given the fact that we want to end the semester right when winter break starts, but we want to get them as close as we can. The other 2 things that came into consideration this year is now that we have park testing, we have to have a 20-day window in March and May in which to conduct the test. So we were looking closely at March, And the other consideration that we talked about was if we move ahead with the proposed addition to the middle school, we wanted to try and end school as early as possible to lengthen the summer for construction purposes. So with that in mind, the committee recommended that we have student attendance days on Veterans Day and Casimir-Pulaski Day for the next school year. And then when we move forward with that, we had, again, the opportunity for all of our staff members to vote on the calendar. And the result was that we would start school with 2 institute days on the 17th and 18th of August, which is when we traditionally have started. The first day of school would be a Wednesday, it would be August 19th. And then the staff selected winter vacation as 2 full weeks beginning on Saturday, December 19th. So 18th would be the last day of school. It would go 2 full weeks. And then we wanted to try something a little different this year, which was to put an institute day on the Monday right at the end of winter break so that our staff could come back and look at data from the first half of the year and plan for the second half of the year. So they really wanted to do that, and we have a lot of work to do around data and assessment, so it sounded like a good opportunity to try that. And then our Good Friday would be, our spring break would be Good Friday and the week after. And the last day of school would be Friday, June 3rd, if we use all 5 of our emergency days, which for the last couple of years we're coming pretty darn close to that. If we don't, this would be totally different. We would actually get out before Memorial Day if we do not use any emergency days next year. And then, of course, this calendar, as we discussed or was presented earlier, does include the early out for the high school for next year. So we're recommending that the board approve the proposed calendar.
Does anyone know when is prom, senior prom?
It's usually May.
They won't.
Next year.
They won't set that, I don't believe, until the calendar's set.
I had a couple parents come up to me and said, if we could move prom away from Mother's Day weekend. So I said, I'll talk to some people and see what could happen. So I imagine Mother's Day is probably the 8th of this next year,
Yes, the
in May of
following year,
2016.
yes, I believe it is.
The high school principal is in the audience. He's heard you. I'm sure that when they come, he's
got a
back in that
thumbs
corner,
up.
hiding in that corner.
Thumbs up from the high school.
I'm sure when that comes up with the group for
Please
prom, they
consider
will
that.
consider that.
Please
They will.
consider that.
And as a former high school principal, that's not the first time I've heard that.
So we want our day, you know. So, okay, great.
Just one question, or maybe even just a comment, Ms. Hirsch. So with the calendar, statistically speaking, I see where we've had a lot of discussion over the years about the change here or there, and then there's this committee. What am I? Oh, here it is. Just simply that, do you take into consideration or do you pile up the data? For example, like this institute data, I know the one immediately following the break. Mm-hmm. So that's a newbie. So do you gather statistics and join them with the committee findings or the committee group that you bring together and kind of see what, because I'm assuming the calendar is extremely important, as we learned last year. What was the discussion? Well, let's have the kids not go on a long hiatus and have to come back and take their finals. Mm-hmm. So do we know, we make changes I'm trying to get to, and do we know what the data says? Does the data support that now that we've done it this way, the success ratio is X, Y, Z or not? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think the data in the way that you're speaking of data. I'll give you for instance. We had an institute day today, and we had one back on the Tuesday following Martin Luther King Day. When we do that, students obviously get a long weekend, but it causes, we're in school for 2 weeks, then we have a short week, and then we're in school for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, then we have a short week. Like this week, we have Friday's a half day because it's the end of the third trimester. So we put the Institute Day this week, so we've only disrupted 1 week of school as opposed to disrupting 2 weeks of school.
Okay.
By putting this, moving, we would still have an Institute Day in January. We've always had an Institute Day in January. But by moving this Institute Day to the Monday that we come back, the teachers will come back hopefully refreshed. But it allows students to have that extra day, and we haven't really gotten them in and then sent them home. So we're hoping that maybe having more of or less of a disruption will serve us better. Just a lot of districts put them in certain places. Sometimes they move them around. In fact, you'll notice on this calendar we put one in April for next school year because we have to preserve that park window. So we're park testing in March and we're park testing in May, and then the time from spring break to the end of the year is about 8 weeks with no days off.
Did you say you need 20 days in each month for park testing?
It's a 20-day window. Yeah, so
okay.
we want to make sure we've got 20 days of school without disruption.
Okay.
So we put this Institute Day in April to kind of help give everyone just a little change in the schedule, but also when we look at what we're going to do with that day, what can we do with the day in April? We can use it to start our summer work, our school improvement planning, those types of things that are toward the end of the year as we're moving into summer. So every time we place one of these days, we're placing it strategically. But as far as any hard data on what the impact is, I would say that there probably isn't any hard data.
And
I think what she was asking, I'm sorry not to jump in real quick.
well, I'm just going to say, I mean exactly what I'm saying as it relates to data, because clearly we can take documentation, what worked, because we switched the calendar we switch it every year. I'm just saying, and even now that you have to have park testing versus some of the other previous testing in years past, I mean, it's right to fix the calendar in such a way that the students will most benefit, because I'm telling you, until you guys brought the issue up about, this long hiatus, and they're sitting there, kind of enjoying the holiday, but the real work is going to begin come it's time to come back to school. Had they known, maybe they would have been at home instead of opening presents and going away for vacation, staying home and studying for real. So, I mean, it's just helpful even, I think, I've heard people questioning data and, research, and I think it's important that we don't just change the calendar all willy-nilly, if you will, but that there's a rhyme or reason.
And that's what, I guess that's what I'm trying to convey to you, is that when we set these days, we're doing it with some rhyme and reason as to why we're doing it.
I think more that she was asking us for is, and we can probably gather this data, is taking a look at the difference between when kids take the final exams after winter break as compared to when they take it before. Because they're more prepared, they're working with the teachers before in that week. I think that's kind of what you're looking for.
And we can do that. I mean, we've had this before winter semester now. I think we've had it 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
3 or 4 or 5, somewhere in that range. So that's not new. It's the early out is new, and the Institute Day placement right after the holidays is a change.
we must have the winter break. You guys just asked us again, so it had to switch at some point.
Well, at some point, the choices that they had this year were because Christmas is on a Friday, so we're actually going to be out almost a complete week before Christmas happens. When we had this a few years back, because it changes every year, if you'll recall, we did do a midweek to midweek type of thing for a couple of years. And, we had some people that liked it and some people that didn't. And I guess this vote is the sign of who liked it best, because it was an option. So.
I don't think they're here.
I do have one question. Looked like we got a pretty good early start to start the 2015-2016 school year, August 19th. Have we thought about, when it comes to starting the 2016-2017 school year with the construction going on. If for some reason it runs over, what is our drop dead date as far as starting?
I haven't actually calculated it, but that is the next step, is to look at, okay, now, when are we going to start the following year? Again, with that idea of, let's keep that summer, get that summer as long as we possibly can. We're pretty close to a drop dead date as it stands right now. I think the only way to get a later start is really to seriously look at these holidays that we have in the calendar. We did that before when we built this building and we built Monee. We did go to like an after Labor Day start, but we eliminated Columbus Day. We eliminated those days to gain a few more days so that we could start a little bit later.
Okay, great. All right, we got the motion out there, do we not? Mary?
Laura, do you want to explain what early out is?
Oh, yeah, we had a question.
Oh, we had a-
I don't know if
Do you
Meg
wanna-
was going to get back.
Carol?
Were you going to get back?
Yes, I was going to get back with more detail than we can provide here. I'd be glad to. It'll be up on the internet, for sure.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussion on that. Okay. Okay, we got a motion, do we not? Okay. Any other questions or concerns? If not, Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Okay, Mrs. Stockton?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Heisel?
Aye.
And Secretary's aye.
Motion carry. Old business, any old business? No old business? New business? You know what, I would like to just share with the district. This is a district-wide, I guess, it's a district-wide opportunity, I guess. Those of you who know that I'm a township trustee for Monee, and I'm also the youth chair for our youth program. And we have a program that we conduct activities at Governor State on Sundays from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the last couple months we have not been able to participate for various reasons. But we're kicking it off this Sunday, February the 22nd. And we're going to have a couple dignitaries out there talking about youth empowerment. That one of the dignitaries is our Illinois State Senator Napoleon Harris III, and the other dignitary is our state representative, Anthony DeLuca. So they're going to be speaking about 7 o'clock. The program is open to all of the taxpayers and their children in the school district. So if you are interested out there, please call 708-534-6020. That is the phone number to our village administrator or township administrator for more information. Again, 708-534-6020. Be a good time to come out with your kids and hear the two dignitaries speak. We have pizza and some other things. Bring your swimming trunks. Bring your gym shoes to play some volleyball, basketball. We also do some mentoring as well and tutoring.
How much is it?
The speakers are going to come up at 7 o'clock. I gave them some real precise times. 7 o'clock to basically 7:30. So it's not so much speaking so people can have fun. Okay. The kids play basketball usually from 5 to 7 while other kids are swimming and different activities. So it's a time to let your hair down. And
Do we have to pay to eat?
no, the food is on the youth committee. And as far as any other information, that's about all I would like to disseminate at this time. We can get it from that phone number, okay? Thank you.
And I just had one, since I did see the Principal Harden walk in. I just want to commend you. I was at the high school volunteering a week or so ago, I think. And, you know, we put policies in place for a reason, and I saw it in action on a specific day. And it was commendable enough for me to make note of it today and any day going forward. The bottom line is we paid money into what's the system for security, for those to get badges. I forget the name. What's the system that we're, Raptor, yes, to identify individuals that are coming into our schools and for the protection and safety of students. We've heard a lot about, safety and protection, and whether we have or haven't, it should be our top priority. So, in what I witnessed is, a familiarity. We feel like because we're known around town or what have you, that we can just walk into a building. I read an email from someone some weeks ago, and they inquired about why board members have fobs and entrance. And the state of Illinois, for anybody, people who are running and for election, you're going to get a fob because it's your responsibility to observe and watch the buildings. You can't very well vote on something or be accountable for something that you haven't never seen. So I'm always in the building. I'm going to always be in the buildings, both as a volunteer and as a member. But most importantly, I still stop at security, I still sign in, and I still show my identification. And anybody who doesn't do that is breaking the rules and the responsibility that they have to provide safety. So, Mr. Harden, I know it was a tough thing for you and your security to have to actually say to individuals, no, you have to go back to our security desk and ensure that we're all providing safety for our kids. I feel like we've done a better job in doing that. We've been laxed in the years. Oh, I know you go on through, I don't know what your day is like, what it's been like, and that could present a danger to students. So thank you, because in the midst of it all, it doesn't matter who it is. I show my ID, I show my badge. Everybody, I don't care who it is, should show their badge, whether they've been volunteering for 25 years, they should show their badge. And the fact that you took the gumption and the wherewithal, and I saw the abuse that you took as a result of it, I encourage you guys, including your staff, to continue to do so, because I was really watching to see if you guys were going to let those guys in, because they were, strangers to the building. So thank you for being consistent and diligent in that practice.
Okay, thank you. All right. This is hard. This is hard for me to say. Can I have a motion to adjourn? We just getting out this early. I don't
Just
know.
say it.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Heisel, second by Board Member Sanders. All in favor? Point vote? Ayes. Any nays? No nays. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out in this cold weather.
What time is it?
I know. Usually we get started this time. Okay.